Hello and welcome to my course on AI automation powered by N8N. In today's lesson, I'm going to talk about key differences that exist among the key or most popular automation tools that are there in the industry, and we are going to specifically cover Zapier and Make.com and how does it compare with our N8N on which this course is based on. Which one is better for you? Imagine this, you are struggling at work with different sort of apps. These spreadsheets are there, emails are there, project tools are there, files are there, and everything is taking your time. So you think that let's automate certain parts of my job, and you go on Google, type in AI automation tool or general automation tool, and you find the most popular ones, which are mainly Make.com or Zapier.com, and then there is IFTTT as well. However, in today's lesson, I'm going to particularly focus upon Zapier and Make.com because they are very much closely related to how N8N works. Since you have at least 3 choices, you must be confused which one you should choose among them. Which one will save time for you? Which one will save money for you? Which will be faster? Which will give you more flexibility? Which will give you more control? Well, in today's lesson, I'm going to give you 15 real differences among them that will give you enough confidence to pick which one is best for your business use case. In the very first point, let's talk about money. How much the automation will actually cost you? What is the pricing model followed by these 3 different tools? It is very important to understand these pricing models because one mistake can lead a hefty bill at the end of the month, and you are trying to scale your business, automate your business, not at the cost of unlimited money. You must be having some kind of limited budget as well for your projects, for your work streams, for your day-to-day life that you are trying to automate. So you need to choose a model that is right for you, and of course it will also depend upon how complex is the business use case, how much data it is processing, how much compute power it will need. So if we look at Zapier, it is going to charge you per task. A task is a single step in Zapier. If your workflow has 5 steps, it runs 100 times. That means 500 tasks will be charged to you. Similarly, if you look at the Make.com, the charges are per operation. Even opening a record or checking a condition is counted as an operation. So more details, more charges are there that will be incurred in a Make.com automation workflow that you would implement. Then comes N8N, which charges you per workflow execution. Now, if you have a very complex workflow or if you have a very simple workflow, the charges would be based upon one single execution of the workflow. If the complex one has 100 different nodes doing 100 different activities and the simple one has 5 different nodes, the charges would be similar in nature because both of them will count as single execution, and N8N charges you based on execution of a workflow. So in this point, clearly N8N is a winner because you can define complex workflows, execute them, and pay them only for one execution, which will be very costly when we talk about Make.com or Zapier, which are going to charge you based on tasks or the steps. The second advantage of this kind of model is it is predictable in nature, so it can help you with the budget planning as well. It won't be like you won't know how many tasks would get executed, steps would get executed, and what will be the bill at the end. You can easily predict the number of execution your big or complex workflows would be having by the end of the month and budget accordingly. Second point is who controls the data, where it resides, who controls the logic of your automation workflow that you will be implementing. You may be in the field where sensitive data is being transported from one tool to another. You may be handling that kind of sensitive data, for example, medical records or client information, which is PII in nature, personally identifiable information. There may be internal tools or internal business logic that you don't want to expose it to the outer world. Then in that case, the only option that you have is N8N because it allows you to have an on-premise version, or you can self-host it because it is a tool that has source code available. You can deploy it in your own local environment and create all the automations around it. Of course, there's a cloud version as well for N8N, which you can always opt if you don't want to maintain your infrastructure. If the need is that you have to have your own control, then you can have N8N on your own instance or in your own network, so that you can protect that data and the data is not going out. When it comes to Zapier or Make.com, they only offer the cloud versions of it. There is nothing that you can deploy in your infrastructure. So you must send your data and the logic over there. So n8n is a clear winner in this point as well, because it not only saves you money, but it also helps you stay compliant with industry compliances like SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR, etc. Third point is external app integration. Which one of these tools connect with more external apps? Let's imagine a scenario where you want to automate a certain business process and you have 3 apps in them. Gmail is there in somewhere in the workflow, then you have Airtable somewhere in the workflow, and you have your own CRM or ERP software that is there in your infrastructure. But you find out that your local ERP or CRM software does not integrate with external apps. So what do you do in this case? Well, over here, Zapier supports the most external integration with 6,000 plus integrations are available. If we talk about Make.com, it offers 1500 app integrations, but there is a way to customize these integrations as well and extend it beyond this 15 number. When it comes to n8n, there is about 1000 odd integrations which are available. However, n8n provides you full control with an HTTP node that can connect to anything that offers an API or a webhook. So you can literally connect any app even if the official integration is not available. So in this point, Zapier is a clear winner in terms of number of external integrations which are available and the convenience it provides. However, n8n shines when it comes to certain tools that does not offer any kind of integration, just offer APIs or webhooks to integrate in themselves and are not enough popular so that the external integrations can be made available in the community. Now the fourth point is complexity handling. How much smarter can you make your workflows in these different tools? For that, let's consider a scenario. You have a contact which you want to check whether it's a customer or not. Then you want to send them a personalized email message. After that, you want to update information in 2 or 3 databases which are different databases. After that, you want your workflow to only continue if the payment was made successfully or not. So this is kind of a complex workflow or pieces of a complex workflows that I'm talking about in terms of complexity. Now, if I apply this business use case onto these tools, Zapier supports basic branching using paths, but there are no loops or multiple triggers that you can configure. You can't easily repeat actions or compare datasets. If you have to use Make.com, then it offers visual logic with routers and advanced branching, so it gives you more power, but still there is no custom scripting that is available unless you are an enterprise customer. If you have to build a complex workflow in n8n, then it supports if-else node, switch statements, loops, set and merge nodes, and various complex triggers which you can use to implement many complex workflows. You can even compare items, filter data, build logic heavy workflows like decision tree as well. So clearly n8n wins over here because it is like building automations using Lego blocks with endless combinations. In the fifth point, let's talk about some of the AI features which are there, whether whatever you will be building will be future proof or not using these tools, and how much coverage of AI features these tools provide. You might be into content generation business where you want to automatically generate content, you want to summarize content, you want to do sentiment analysis, you want to smartly reply to the emails that are coming from the customer using AI tools like OpenAI platforms or LangChain libraries. Well, in that case, Zapier has AI steps and AI powered Zap builders, but customization is limited. Make.com offers OpenAI and Hugging Face models but lacks deep API control. When it comes to n8n, it supports full OpenAI APIs, LangChain, and custom prompts. You can build your own mini GPT workflows, even chatbots. Even it provides AI agent node so that you can build an army of agents for your business that can do the work for you while you are focusing on the strategy or expansion of your business. So again, n8n is a clear winner over here. It is future proof and offers customizable AI workflows. And you must be thinking that out of so many points, n8n is a clear winner. In most folks, it is not a paid lesson video by n8n. It is my experience with the tool, the way my life changed or my processes changed. That is why I wanted to create a course for you as well, so that you can also reclaim the time in your life. Moving on to 6th point, What is the level of coding support that is there in all these tools? How much you can codify your things? You might want to do some custom calculation which are based on your custom logic of business. You might want to call an API with some kind of headers into it. How much these tools support it? When we look at Zapier.com, it lets you write JavaScript and Python via Code by Zapier, but with limits on package support. Make.com offers JavaScript in limited scenario, but only in enterprise plan. And when it comes to N8N, it allows full JavaScript and Python scripting using function, code, or HTTP nodes. And above all, if you are self-hosting, you can even install external libraries. So N8N is a clear winner over here as well for advanced or casual developers too. 7th point is error handling. How robust is your workflow? How resilient it is to error or different error condition that might occur. Let's say you are sending some important emails to your customer and the API that you have for sending the email, the key is expired. So you are getting errors. So what happens whether you get the notification, whether the rest of the workflow continues or not, or it stops? Such kind of scenarios, is your tool able to handle or not? If we look at Zapier offers very basic error paths and logs. Make.com supports ignore, resume, retry settings and partial execution. However, N8N allows you to build even custom error workflows with retry, logging to Slack, send alerts, or pause the execution altogether. So again, when it comes to error handling, N8N provides you full control over your workflow and how you want to gracefully handle that kind of error. 8th point is about collaboration. Can other people collaborate on the workflow that you have implemented? Can they have access to it and put their logics, maybe review it from the perspective of a business workflow? Maybe your business analyst want to see whether whatever they have mapped has been put rightfully into the workflow or not. In this aspect, Zapier only allows multiple users on Teams plan, or if you are choosing a higher plan than Teams plan. Similarly, Make.com supports exporting and role-based sharing on higher plans which are there, not on the basic plan. And when it comes to N8N, it offers workflow and credential sharing on a starter tier, but better management is there when it comes to pro plans or enterprise version. Hence, there is no clear-cut winner over here. N8N has a slight edge over other platform because the basic tier also provides you some kind of basic credential management or collaboration support. Similarly, point number 9 talks about user management. How many users can you add? If your business is scaling, you would want to add more and more users so that they can automate more and more workflows or collaborate in the automation workflows that others are creating to provide inputs, to review, to quality check and whatnot. So how many users can you add in these different tools? When we look at Zapier, it only allows user management on plans such as Teams and above. Make.com supports advanced roles on their organization level plans. N8N supports unlimited user with role management on pro tier and plans which are above it. Again, not a clear winner, but if I look at or do the math in terms of costing, N8N will come as a winner because it can help you with the scaling teams at an affordable price, because you can choose a pro plan and add unlimited number of users over there. Point number 10 is about data storage. Can you save the data and use it later in these tools? For example, you might be in the middle of the workflow and you may have got some kind of form submission data that is there, or you have fetched the emails or fetched the data from Google Drive. Can you save that data for later use in the workflow so that you don't have to repeat the step again? Again, point number 1 was Make.com as well as Zapier, they charge you per step. So you would not want to execute the step just to fetch the data and test the next step which is there. So can you do that in different platforms? If we look at Zapier, it offers tables which are very easy to use, but they are limited in nature. When it comes to Make.com, it has data stores which are similar to small databases. However, N8N stores data inside the workflow as well as lets you connect to real databases like MySQL, Postgres, or even Notion database as well. So in this aspect, Make.com is a clear winner if you want to leverage the built-in storages. However, if you want to use real powerful databases, then your only choice is N8N. On point 11 is the API access to these tools. Can you automate the automation tool itself? Well, you might want to trigger your automation workflow with a click of a button on your phone, maybe a custom app. Maybe you have an app somewhere else or the application that is serving your enterprise, and from there you want to trigger a workflow. Can that be done? If we look at Zapier, it has an API but limited in nature, and observability is only on enterprise version of it. When we look at Make.com, it has full APIs for scenarios, credentials, and users. And similarly, N8N has APIs for executions, credentials, and more on all the plans which are there. So in this aspect, Make.com is a clear winner by providing a full range of API access to you. However, you might have to step up on the plan that you are subscribed to, while in N8N on the free tier as well, you get a broad set of API access. Point number 12 is enterprise support. Are these tools ready for a big enterprise? You might be in finance, healthcare, or a very large organization. You have security needs, you have data needs, you have complex business processes. Can you get service or support for the tool? All these three tools offers enterprise plan. However, Zapier limits workflow by task count. Make.com offers flexible pricing and roles, but N8N provides self-hosting, unlimited workflows, SSO, audit logs, and much more features. So N8N is a clear winner, and it is built to scale for enterprise level automations. Point number 13 is the scalability. Will it work as you grow your business, as you scale your business? What might be working for 1 or 2 teams with 10 or 15 workflows might not work for 500 workflows across 15 or 20 different teams. Well, in this aspect, Zapier becomes very expensive and hard to manage at scale. Make.com handles complex workflows very well, but it is limited in customization. However, N8N supports scaling with Dockers, queues, self-hosting, and external integration. So in this aspect as well, N8N is a clear winner because it grows with your business and lets you tweak every part of it. Of course, you need to put the infrastructure in place to manage the N8N instances or Docker containers. On point number 14, we have community and support. Who has the back when it comes to providing or getting support, the documentation, or the general user community which is out there? You are stuck with something, you need help, you have a question, you want to ask that question and get unstuck. Do you have to wait for 3 days, 10 days, or you have to read 50 different Google threads and then come on to the solution? When it comes to Zapier, it has a big help center and support system. Make.com also has decent documents and community. N8N has an active forum, GitHub issues, Discord, and lets you vote on the feature request as well. So in this aspect, I would say N8N may have just a slight edge because you can connect with real people maybe on their Discord channel and all, but the other two also offers a decent community and documentation support. On point number 15, I have workflow design. How much smarter workflows can you build? But it is more or less related to the complexity handling point that I have already covered in this course. So workflow design is not just about designing the workflow. You want to visually represent how you are thinking about a process, how the workflow will react to a certain condition, how it will split the data among different nodes or different branches so that different paths can be followed, how your automation or workflow can adapt to different scenarios. So when it comes to Zapier, it supports basic if this then that kind of a logic. Make.com offers routers, filters, as well as branching. However, N8N gives you full canvas of loops, merge, data comparisons, custom functions. You can write your own expression. The full JavaScript library is there for you so that you can build your own logic to do comparisons and split the data or transform the data. Hence, I would say N8N again has a very big advantage over here when it comes to workflow design as well. So that ends the comparison of these 15 parameters or dimensions, and you can see that N8N has been a clear winner in most of these aspects. However, I would still like to give a summary of where you can use the other tools as well. So if you look at the simplification, you can use Zapier if you need something quick and simple and you are okay with some sort of higher cost as you grow. You can use Make.com if you want visual, powerful tool without getting technical and you are fine with staying on their cloud. And you should use N8N if you want full control, better pricing, deep customization, and long-term growth. especially if you are ready to level up your skills. So that's it for this lesson. Now that you understand the limits and the strength of each of these tools, and you also know that n8n is a clear winner, and that's why we are on this course, because I want you to learn n8n from end to end. Hence, without wasting any time, in the next lesson we are going to jump deep dive into n8n. We will install n8n, as well as we'll look at the cloud version of n8n, and we'll start walking through the web interface of it. How does it look, what components it has, and finally we'll create a real workflow that solves a business use case. So I'll see you in the next lesson.